we want to understand how the brain copes with a rapid increase in temperature, like what happens more and more often during heat waves in the summer due to climate change. And this is especially important for cold-blooded animals like reptiles, insects, and most fish because they cannot regulate their body temperature like we do. And so recently we have shown that high heat strongly alters the behavior of zebrafish, which is a tiny tropical fish. So when you heat up the water around them, they start showing these erratic and disorganized swimming patterns, and then they lose equilibrium and they completely stop responding when you gently poke them on the tail. And this is very similar, if you think about it, to symptoms of heat strokes in humans. When your body and your brain gets too hot, you get confused, you get dizzy, you lose balance, and you can also lose consciousness. So when we measure the activity of neurons in the brain of this fish, we also saw that high heat caused a big wave of spreading depolarization, which is a phenomenon that induces a global shutdown of neural function. And what is very interesting is that these behavioral and neural dysfunction that are caused by high heat, they are transient, they are reversible. So if you rapidly return the fish to a normal temperature, they start swimming again and their brain activity normalizes after just a few minutes. So in this project, we want to study how fast the brain recovers from exposure to heat, and specifically what is the role of an often underestimated type of brain cells, the glial cells. We suspect that these glial cells, they can influence how fast the brain tissue recovers normal function after being exposed to high temperature. And a second thing we want to do in this project is we want to understand what renders brain cells more resilient to heat. And for that, we will leverage a natural phenomenon that is called thermal acclimation. So if you raise zebrafish babies at higher than normal temperature, then they become more resilient to heat, meaning that it will take higher temperatures to make them lose equilibrium and stop responding. And we will measure what has changed in the brain of these fish that are acclimated to heat at the level of entire neural circuits, but also at the molecular level in terms of the messenger RNAs, the protein coding genes, if you will, that these brain cells express. And that will enable us to understand how adaptation at the molecular level can improve the way brain circuits perform in high heat. It's not common that neuroscientists apply their expertise to topics such as how does the brain in different animals adapts when it gets hotter, or when the oceans become more acid, or when there is more human-generated noise or light. So I think this initiative from the Kavli Foundation, it's really timely. It's pioneering in that respect, by bringing neuroscientists to this new topic that they don't study so often. And I really hope that other foundations will follow the lead, because we also need to know more about how our own nervous system might adapt to a rapidly changing environment. And we already start to see that very hot summers, like the one we experienced recently, that strongly affects human health. And maybe we will find that it increases the prevalence of brain disease as well. So I think it's very, very relevant.